Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Hump Day Hotline on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That guy sitting right next to me is my good friend Jay Spence the King. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Spence the King. We are so excited that you are joining us. It is Chiefs week. We are here for the midweek report on the Overreaction Sports Network, and we want you to do us a favor. Please subscribe, hump that like, whatever thumbs up button you got, whatever, if it says like, whatever, just hump that like right now. Help us get our numbers up. If you enjoy the content that we put out, daily content, sometimes a couple times a day, we're doing our best to bring you guys solid content, the Mafia solid content. Also, if you're listening to this in podcast form, in post, please subscribe, leave us a review, and for goodness sakes, tell a friend. If you enjoy what you're hearing from us, retweet it, put it on Facebook, let people in your sphere that are listening to who knows what, the national media, for goodness sakes, whatever they're listening to, let them know that there's some good content out there that's actually local. I'm one of those guys. My guy, Jay Spence the King, is one of those guys. Clearly, we have Jerry and John with us as well, but it is so good to have every single one of you guys with us. My man, Jay Spence the King, how you feeling?
Man, as a Bills fan, I don't know how you can feel anything but great.
8-2. Dude, I talked to Josh Reed last night from Channel 4, and he's like, I predicted the Bills to be 6-2. And I was like, what? He goes, that's what everybody said to me. Everybody was like, there's no way they're going to be 6-2. He's like, that's what I predicted them to be. And I was like, man, 8-2. It's crazy.
Dude, I mean, and like I said, this is one of those times when, like, if anybody tries and wants to pull receipts and they say, oh, see, you're wrong. Listen, I'm wrong. This is one of those times I'm okay with being wrong about this. I'd had just looking at this team, you just feel like they regressed in so many areas that you feel like they needed to excel with the way you felt like the AFC was shaping up to be prior to the season starting.
Right.
And then even on top of it, then you see the injuries start to pile up going into the season, and the Matt Milano news was probably like, it was just like, holy crap, like, seriously. But it's just like, come on, man. And so, like, to be here and then to still say, hey, we're getting healthier now. You go through the 4-game suspension with Von Miller, and then you, like, all of this stuff that it's like, okay, we're going to suffer here at some point. Oh, we're going to suffer here. And yeah, you take 2 losses, but at the end of the day, if somebody would have told you back last season or at the end of the year, hey, next year by this week you're going to be 8-2, you're going to lose 2 games to 2 good teams, and that's just and it's one is going to be super close, one you're going to wish you had back. I think we all would have taken it at this point.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it on the midweek reports on the Hump Day Hotline, kind of as we've kind of gone through this season, specifically the last couple of years. And welcome to everybody that's in the chat. Scott Devereaux, Daniel Gowrie, Allentown, Sarah Larson's in the chat, Richard Rush, my guy, double R. Welcome to everybody. Maggie's in the chat, David Reed. It's good to have all of you guys with us. You're not wrong. And it's funny because so much of this kind of parlays and rolls into this game that's coming up this Sunday as it pertains to, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Is this game meaningful? Is it more meaningful for the Chiefs or the Bills, or is it just another game? There's a lot of conversation around it. There's a lot of media attention around it. I mean, for goodness sakes, NFL Today is going to be in Buffalo for the tailgate, like the whole crew. And has that ever happened? Has there ever been a situation where the NFL Today crew has gone on location? I don't remember. It could have happened. I don't want to say that we're the first, but I don't remember it happening. The nation is getting this football game, right? So we'll get to that in a second, but I think we probably should start with what happened this past weekend, and then we'll get into injuries and stuff like that, and just some other topics that we have.
Real quick though, before you get there, like, if it has happened before, like, the thing about it is so cool to me that it's happening to Buffalo, because I know, like, before we get into it and then we start to sound like spoiled, entitled fans, because we're going to, like, that's what's going to happen over the next however many minutes. But before we get there, I do want to take a step back and just acknowledge how, like, prior to Josh Allen and prior to Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott and that whole thing being turned around after Pagulas brought them here, to Buffalo, it was not like this. And we used to crave for it. We used to crave for the media attention. We used to always wonder why we couldn't get primetime games. We were upset when the schedule was released and we didn't have a Monday night, or even just we had the minimum one Thursday night football game, and it was upsetting.
Right.
Now I'm like, damn, can we play at 1 o'clock sometimes? And it's a complete shift. But so again, we're about to shift and sound really entitled. I did want you all to know we are humble a little bit here. We do recognize like this is actually a blessing, and this is something that we should appreciate. Okay, I just had to throw that in there, Joe.
The only thing I heard was you talked about the Bagulas, and then I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm in Boca Raton right now. Like, why did I not call them and be like, yo, dude, can we do the show from the yacht? Like, what's up? Like, I'm in town. Like, let's do the show from the yacht, bro.
What's up? I'm here.
Not that they have any clue who I am, or you for that matter. They might know who you are, but I doubt they know who I am.
No, they know you for sure, man.
They know John and Jerry, former, obviously, players of the Buffalo Bills. But I guess where I want to start is just effectively with that Colts game, which is the normal place to start. And the question that I want to ask you, because I've got my own set of feelings. We went into this game. Let's see. I'm trying to look back. So we had the Dolphins game beforehand, and we were not nervous about the Dolphins game, right? Mm-hmm. And then we were semi-nervous about the Colts game, but then it turned into like the rash of injuries. And I don't remember where we landed. Were we nervous about this game going in, or were we kind of like, it is what it is?
No, I think both of us last week kind of had that feeling like, you know what? JT is going to be JT because he's always JT against us.
Right.
We're not worried about Flacco, and that's it. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, first half JT was JT, but I will give Sean McDermott credit. I'll give the defense credit. Bobby Babbage, look, they figured it out. I think they held him to, what was it, 12 yards or something like that in the second half. It was like seven yards. So he completely disappeared in the second half, and to their credit, it looked like a completely different game. And from the middle of that third quarter to the end, it just looked like the Buffalo Bills were a completely different team than the first half.
Yeah. So I guess the question that I want to ask is, so let's settle in that we were not overly nervous, because I feel like I went into this game thinking, well, with the amount of injuries we have, if there's a game that we should be sitting players, it's probably this game. If we lose it, it's not that big of a deal. The Chiefs game is much bigger, but this is where I'm going. At what point, if any, did doubt creep in during this football game? Because they drew me in to this football game. So I guess, and I'll finish that statement, but I'm wondering if you were like, is what it is. Or was there a point where you were like, where they had you? Do you understand? You know what I mean by they had you? It's like I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to be good, but now you've got me. Does that make sense?
You would have been proud of me. Like, if I was actually tweeting out very nice things. I was nice about McDermott. I was like, look, I hate giving a big plays like that, but when you hold them to 3 points, it's just stats. And I'm like, I'm being all calm. And I just felt like, okay, the second half is this season. The Bills' identity has been like, okay, second half, we come out and we kind of just start to beat people down. We figure you out, we make our adjustments, and then we beat you down in the second half. So I'm like, you know what? Flacco's out here playing like prime Peterman. Like, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just destroy them in the second half. And that's what happened. So I was actually cool.
Yeah, so first play from scrimmage for the offense for the Colts, and Taron Johnson intercepts that football, takes it back, and it was like the longest touchdown or interception return for a touchdown ever. Like, is he going to get there? And sure enough, he gets there. And I don't remember if we went up 10-0. I don't remember if we had 10 unanswered points, but at some point in time, right, we were looking good defensively. The offense had a little bit of a slow start. And then they take the lead 13-10. And that was the moment where I'm like, you're going to F around and lose this football game. Like, that was the moment where they sucked me in. It was like, oh, we're going to do something in this football game. And then, then it was like, I was reverting back to how are we going to find ways to lose this game? Again, Jonathan Taylor's got 107 rushing yards in the first half. You know what I mean? And thank God Joe Flacco was, throwing interceptions and fumbling footballs all over the place. it was an interesting football game nonetheless. But at the end of the day, ugly wins count. You stack them and you move on, because I don't feel like I've had some back and forth with some people both during shows and on Twitter, just about the fact that, me making the comment that Josh didn't look his sharpest. Was he 59% for 280 yards? And he had no touchdowns passing. He did have the one rushing touchdown. And I think Josh acknowledged it as well, that he didn't have his best game. But at the end of the day, a dub is a dub. And the only object this football team has right now is stacking wins. That's it. They're 1 or 2 seed. The goal is the 1 or the 2 seed. The East is yours. You don't have to worry about the East. There's no longer a reason to play for the East. You just stack wins at this point. They've got such a big lead, which is interesting. How about this? We talked about the title of the show last week was "Did the Bills do enough?" I think the way that I phrased it was something about flatline. I don't remember what I said. I said something to like. I used the word line in there. Like, were the moves a flatline effect, or did they move the line, or something like that? Meaning, like, is this going to do something, or is this just like, oh well, it is what it is? Dude, Jordan Phillips and Quentin Jefferson played significant snaps last week.
They did,
and made an impact in that football game.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, like, we both were. I'll talk for me. I was like, no, it doesn't move the needle for me. Like, it's not a big deal of a signing, and I'm still gonna necessarily say, like, it's not like I don't look at it on the level of a superstar signing that a lot of obviously we all want. Hey, go make the trade for the guy.
Right.
It wasn't that. However, listen. I don't know what happens when Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott bring certain type of guys in to Western New York.
Let's just say Jordan Phillips. Let's just say Jordan Phillips.
I have with Jordan Phillips. He goes to Arizona. He's terrible.
He wasn't great in Miami. He wasn't great in Miami. He got cut by Miami because he wasn't
terrible. He comes back to Buffalo. He's energized. He's all like, like he just looks. He looks like what every team probably thought they were getting when they signed him. Right. And I have no idea how Sean McDermott does this with guys on defense, which is why I have backpedaled on my take and I have apologized several times publicly. He has shut me up this year. Because again, you just talked about who you said you had Josh on, right? And he said he predicted him to go 6-2. Right. I didn't. I sure as hell didn't.
Me either.
And look, so to be 8-2, there's absolutely nothing I can say at this point that, like, I can't talk about Sean McDermott. Like, I can't say nothing bad.
Well, he's also changed the way that he's coaching games. He's gotten Jerry Ostrowski has been very pointed in saying, just in shows about how he has changed his aggressiveness, how he has changed just the way that he's doing certain things. He did have one, in my opinion, poor timeout call. So the Bills, I think it was a 4th down call and the clock ran down to whatever. And he called a timeout to get a look at the defense, which is just something I wish he would never do. Like, why give the defense an opportunity to catch its breath, look at what you were going to do on offense, make an adjustment, just run the play. Like, they're probably on their heels a little bit anyway, because you're going for it on 4th down, but he's effectively changed. And I questioned Josh Reed about this last night as well on the beat. Just like, it feels like McDermott is more comfortable with these 2 coordinators than I feel like he's ever been. Right or wrong?
If I was still writing articles, I would write an article right now about that, and I would compare it to the way I think Josh Allen feels more in control of this offense without Stephon Diggs. It's the same way that I feel Sean McDermott feels that he can be a leader without somebody like a Leslie Frazier, who is a leader, like he's a leader of men, without a Dayball, or without, like, there's certain type of personalities that, it's good when we start. Like, when we're starting this thing, I need all the leaders. I need all of I need all the all-stars around me to build this thing out. But then once it gets to a certain point, I think, you might, and I don't want to say lesser talent, because I think the coordinators we have are, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I think their careers are going to rival anybody's. But I think at this stage of their career, it's a difference when you're the big dog in the room and everybody feels it and everybody knows it, versus it being Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott sitting there. Because Leslie, and I'm not saying that Leslie was a problem. You get what I'm saying?
No.
And even for Steph and Josh, like, the comparison, Steph, I know all of the whatever. I'm not talking about last season. I'm not talking about all of the media crap. Now, there was a portion where Steph was in Buffalo and it was great. So, but we saw Josh, he always deferred to Steph. Steph was his personality, even if it wasn't necessarily respect level, his personality was so big that you just kind of had to acknowledge it. Now it's Josh's offense. Like what personality on that team, offense or defense, is bigger or even thinks that they can rival Josh Allen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's none. And it's funny because like there's people that are boiling this game this week down to like, MVP conversation, which you and I talked about, and I'm still there. Like I don't want to hear the crowd chant MVP. I don't care about the MVP. Don't talk to me about MVPs unless we're talking about Super Bowl MVP, because it's just tired and it's wasted on me. However, I will say this. Not to mention the fact that I'm not sure Pat Mahomes is deserving of the MVP this year. Like he's like 17th in the league for quarterback play this year, and Josh isn't having his best quarterback year either. Lamar Jackson is actually having an MVP season. Like you can argue about the two that he's won, that his numbers weren't as good as even Josh Allen's and some of the other ones. This year he's playing lights out. But it's funny because I do feel like if Sean McDermott, if the Bills win this football game, and we'll talk about this in a second, I don't put a lot of onus on this football game as far as like it having a ton of meaning outside of the fact that they need to secure the 1 seed or the 2 seed, something they've never done in Josh Allen's career, Sean McDermott's career. I feel like if the Bills win this football game and move to 9-2, 8-2, the last time they were 8-2 was 1993 when John Fina was the starting left tackle, right? Their last Super Bowl year. I don't remember the last time they were 9-2. It could have been 93. Have they ever been 9-2? I don't know. With a soft rebuild, a season when you are taking on a $31 million cap hit from Stephon Diggs, you've moved on from 5 captains, right? Like when you think about this whole thing, if the Bills win this weekend, lock it up. Sean McDermott should be the coach of the year.
Now that's interesting. So I saw a post where somebody put up like certain odds, and Sean McDermott wasn't even in the conversation really. So I went and looked up like where he was, and he was like around like 9 or 10. And I understand that, for instance, I get it. Andy Reid, they're undefeated. You got Mahomes, you won the Super Bowls, you're the hunted. And okay, then I also get what was happening out there in Washington. I understand what's happening with the rookie quarterback. It's phenomenal to see. But if you're not putting Sean McDermott first, I'm okay with that, because I'm not putting him first. But like 9th or 10th, when everybody had the Buffalo Bills, come on, everybody had the Buffalo Bills 8-2, and he's not even in conversation. I just think that's I'll pull a page out of Stephen A's book and call it blasphemy, man. Like that's insane.
It's insane. A little bit insane. Yeah, if you bet it, right? So you probably should bet it before the game this weekend. Even I've had to walk it back. So I've had people challenge me on Twitter for 2 things quite a bit so far this season. The first was the emotional response that I had after myself and every content creator said that there is no way the Buffalo Bills are moving on from Stephon Diggs, right? They're not taking this cap hit. They're not trading him. Stephon Diggs is going. The last show I did on Buffalo Rumblings was, should I stay or should I go? And the show was, he's not going anywhere. He's staying, right? And the Bills move on. So out of emotion, I'm like, I don't see how the Josh Allen quarterbacks this team, like with all the stuff, all the changes, and then Steph now being gone. I don't see how Josh Allen quarterbacks this team to a playoff. And people are like, oh, you still feel this way? Like they're all over me. The other one is my preseason prediction, because, and I've tried to explain it to people. Like it's no fun when Bills content creators or content creators for any team, if you're on a show with 2 other people or 3 other people, and everybody's like, Bills, 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 we're all Bills. It's the Bills. Like, so I was like, I'll go Jets. Like if there's an imposing team preseason, that defense, Myles Garrett, like that offense, if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, I think I even said that if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, like the Jets have an opportunity. They usually have the Bills number at least once a season. So like if there's another team out there that I feel like could beat the Bills for the East Championship, it could be the Jets. And, of course, did I want it to be the Bills? Of course. But I'm not saying that we were all not thinking the same thing or that we all were thinking the same thing, but I've had to answer that. At this point in time, Sean McDermott, I don't know who could be in front of him. Like Dan Campbell, he's got a smoking hot team. Like he has one of the best rosters in the NFL. Like who's in front of him? Who's on that list in front of Sean McDermott?
I mean, I think there's something to be said about what's happening in Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin is doing a pretty good job with. I mean, everybody wrote Russell Wilson off, and then before Russell Wilson was healthy, come on, like I'm just saying, like to have the team where they are, I think that's a pretty big deal. I don't, and real quick, I do want to talk on the one point that you mentioned about like Lamar Jackson having an MVP season. His numbers are amazing, but it's tough for me to vote for a guy with MVP when you have another MVP candidate in your backfield. That was my same argument that I had when people had Brock Purdy and McCaffrey. Like it's like these guys, like no, it's unfair. It's Madden stuff. But back to like the other topic, McDermott. I don't know. I don't know. Like. Because again, he shut me up, man. I was coming into the season. I'm like, this guy's terrible. I want him gone. And then he still was making bad decisions. That Houston Texans game was one of the worst coaching decisions that we've seen this season, and there's been some bad ones. So
yeah.
I don't know. But it's been one game, and then every other game of the season, and this is what I've been trying to get people to see. Look, the Buffalo Bills have won 8 games. 5 of those games, the other team had only 10 points.
That's right.
And the offense is scoring. It's not like the Buffalo Bills has more than one game. Really, I have to look at the scores, but I think we've scored 20 in every single game.
I think we did not against the Ravens, correct? Or the Texans. It was one of those two teams.
Texans was 23-20.
Yeah.
What was the Ravens? I'm sure
it's a valid point. Your point is, I mean, they're averaging, I think, 30 points a game, right?
So they're scoring and they're stopping teams from scoring. And that's how teams win football games.
Right.
Listen, the Buffalo Bills are 8-2, and it's not a fluke. It's not a fluke.
100%. So let's 35-10.
Okay. So the Ravens game, we got thrashed.
Let's jump over to the injury report real quick. The Buffalo Bills did perform a walkthrough today. They did not have a full practice. Josh Allen's still on this list with his left hand. However, he was carrying the football in that Colts game in his left hand, while he was stiff-arming people with his right. Benford, full participant. The did not participate. Spencer Brown with the ankle. There was a report that it was swollen today, that the reporters could see that it was swollen a little bit. Keon Coleman has already been ruled out for this football game. Amari Cooper has a cast or something on his wrist. He was working with the jugs machine. I think they need to play him in this football game just to get him out there and have him running routes to pull attention. Did not participate. What do we got? Dalton Kincaid with the knee did not participate. Matt Milano is on IR with his window open. He is assuredly not going to play. And that's basically it. So, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, while that list is still long and the font is still small, the Buffalo Bills are on the track to getting healthy. Obviously, there's some guys that are important missing, Keon Coleman. But I'll be honest with you, as we transition into this Colts game in our conversation, I liked the fact that Keon's absence seemed like it put Curtis Samuel in a position where the ball could find him. He started running more than just gimmick and gadget routes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it's going to take. I was listening to, I think I was listening to WGR this morning on the radio on the way to the airport this morning. And they were talking about like Josh Allen always throws a deep ball against the Chiefs. Who's it going to be this time? Normally it's Gabe Davis or Dawson Knox. And I'm like, why would they not? Why is Curtis Samuel not running go routes and taking the top off the defense? Like he runs is it a 4.3 or 4.4? Like he's the fastest wide receiver on the team. It's just interesting to me. But when you look at the wide receiver group as a whole and who they're going to have available, it's not going to be much different from this weekend. This past weekend, hopefully Amari Cooper can play and maybe catch a couple footballs. But getting back to that football game, this one, the Chiefs-Bills game, is this a must win? I don't think so. Like, where are you at on this game? Because I think for the Mafia, this is I think hellfire and brimstone if the Bills lose this football game.
Well, I think when you look at it from that angle, level of competition at this point, I said at the beginning of the show, we were going to be entitled fans. So now here we are. Okay. So like now the point is the playoffs. The point is beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. The point is getting to the Super Bowl. That's the point. So we've beat them in the in the regular season at home. We've beat them in Kansas City. We've beat them, and we haven't blown them out.
We haven't beaten them at home yet.
No, we got beat at home. We beat them in Kansas City.
Correct. 2 or 3 times in Kansas City.
Yeah. And so, and by saying that, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not talking crap about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 9-0. The Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champions. They're a great team. They're going to find ways to win. We can't make mistakes against this team. What they do is they find ways to win off your mistakes. They're not playing at a high level this year, but they find ways to make you pay for your mistakes. If the Buffalo Bills make mistakes, it's over. I think the Buffalo Bills can beat this team. I think this is the first year. Antoine Staley was out here last week. The Jets played against the Cardinals. So he and I got together and we were talking about it. And this was one of the conversations we had. This is the first year that I really think that the Buffalo Bills are a better team based on what we've seen throughout the season. So up until this point of the season, I think the Buffalo Bills have put a better resume together than the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs undefeated? Yes. But the way they've been winning games, you talk about now the block kick, that's a part of the game. But, it's a lot of these plays where it's like a toe on the chalk. Like week 1, you got like literally every single week there's something, and there's some amazing way that the Chiefs just find a way to win the game. And I think the Buffalo Bills, aside from 1 or 2 games, they've been winning games convincingly. And I think the same thing that I said about the Chiefs is true about the Buffalo Bills. The Bills will make you pay for your mistakes. So if the Chiefs makes the same type of mistakes that they've been making against these other teams, I think Sean McDermott at this point in this regular season, playoffs is yet to be seen. But I think in the regular season, I think Sean McDermott is a good enough coach that he's going to make you suffer. He's going to make you pay if you make a mistake.
But it all comes down to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the one team that Sean McDermott can't beat when it matters. And as much as we were just talking when we were just talking about the fact that Sean McDermott should be, potentially coach of the year, we've all, backpedaled or at least taken a step back from this whole notion of like, is he ever going to learn? Are we going to keep making the same mistakes and the coaching issues and whatever? At some point in time, right? I mean, he's going to have to find a way to consistently beat Andy Reid. He's going to have to, because and I know what I can hear Jerry in my ear, right? Well, the players go out and they're the ones that play. And it's just like, but at some point in time, it comes down to coaching. Like good coaches beat guys that are not as good as them. It's just what happens. And I feel like if Sean McDermott, he's going to have to figure out a way. I don't know what you're laughing about, but he's going to have to figure out a way to get that monkey off of his back from a playoff standpoint, which go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, and I thought about it. It's like, if you think about, do you think that the Giants were better than the Bills in the 90s when they won the Super Bowl against us?
They were not. I mean, Jeff Hostetler was the quarterback, but at the end of the day, it was one game though. I mean,
no, but the reason why I bring that up, to me, the game was won by coaching.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that game. So like, I understand, you're right. The players have to go out there and play, but the Buffalo Bills, that game, coaching couldn't get out the way and say, you know what? They're basically giving us 15 yards of carry if we hand it off to Thurman. They just wanted to stick with the K-gun, so they kept throwing it and hand the ball off. It was a coaching decision. And then on the other side, Bill Belichick, damn this dude, Bill Belichick, he so it was coaching. So as much as I agree with, and I understand where Fina and I understand where the Big O is coming from, but at the same time, and maybe I'm just overly critical with Sean McDermott with some things, but I think in the playoffs, I think he makes terrible decisions. And I think 2 years specifically, you can't win it every year. Every year isn't our year. But there's 2 years that I really feel like, man, we really missed that chance. And but this year he's putting us in the position. And I think Bruce
agreed.
I think it's one of Bruceisms where he says, like you hope to be, good every year and be in a position to get lucky, or however he words it. Like, you just look for that one chance to luck to happen, but you have to be consistently good for that 1 year of luck to happen. And I think the Buffalo Bills are doing it consistently, man. They can't say nothing bad about it.
Yeah, it seems like on the inverse of that, it seems like just with all the stuff that we talked about with the Chiefs and how they're winning, it seems like a season of destiny for them. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be. I think at the end of the day, this game for me is just another game. I don't need to win. I don't need to win during the season. I've seen it. Yep, done that, right? It's not going to change. I'm not going to come out of this football game unless they get destroyed at home 50-0 or 50-10 or 49-10. There's nothing about this. The wheels completely come off. Or they come out completely flat and like not ready to play, like the Bengals playoff game after the DeMar Hamlin situation. If they come out like that, I'm gonna have a problem. If they get beat in this football game, it's not gonna matter to me. If they win in this football game, the greatest thing coming out of this game for me is the fact that they stacked another win. And as much as everybody's like, oh, well, the 1 seed's out of reach already, it's not. If they beat the Chiefs this weekend, the Chiefs fall to 8-1, 9-1. They fall to 9-1. The Bills are now 9-2. And the Bills are gonna have to win out regardless to effectively probably get the 1 or 2 seed. If they end up with 3 losses and the Ravens have 3 losses, the Ravens get the 2 seed. So the Bills have a tough road to hoe, but that's the only goal, in my opinion, is to get the 1 or the 2 seed. And now you have an opportunity in front of you to get the 1 or to make a step into the 1 seed. You've got to stack this win. And that's what it comes down to me. Like, I don't want to hear about Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes. I don't want to hear about Sean McDermott versus Andy Reid. I want them to go in there. I want them to win the football game. It's almost getting old to me. This matchup is I'm getting kind of the point where it's like, great. Does it matter if we play them in the regular? Let's not play them in the regular season. Let's just play them in the playoffs, which is not going to happen because the Chiefs are the best team in their division. We're the best team in our division. We're always going to play them. That's what's happened every single year. And then we're going to meet in the playoffs. They just need to win to stack the win. They need to win to stack. This is just another game. This should be just another game for the Buffalo Bills.
You sound over it. You're like, like you're just like, just win in the playoffs, man.
Right. Get a number one. Get a first round bye and win in the playoffs. Right? Is that
no? You're right. You're right. And it's just and I think that's where I am with it. But you said it. You hit the nail on the head. Where the national narrative is going to be is the matchup, the head-to-head matchup between the two, because they're at the top of the game. You're going to have the Sean McDermott and Andy Reid comparisons, and how McDermott can't quite seem to beat the teacher yet, and all of this conversation. You're going to have that. But to me, the conversation really comes down to the Buffalo Bills haven't lost a home game since playing the Chiefs in the playoffs last year.
Right.
That's the last time we lost a home game.
The Chiefs haven't lost a game. Well, I don't know. So they're what, 9-0? I think they're 14-0 right now.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game since at least the playoffs started. At least so.
Which the Bills took a win streak into the playoffs, right? So the Bills are some number in 3.
Yeah,
I think is where I'm kind of going. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I apologize. I think that's where I'm going. Like, to your point about the national media and everybody else. Oh, this is a measuring stick game for the Bills. The hell it is. Like, Josh Allen was a rookie in 2018, and there were flashes of brilliance, and he was largely cheeks, to use your word, right? And he had no offensive line. He had no wide receivers, but he had Shady, right? And then you go to 19, he makes the playoffs. And since 2020, when he took the jump, the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL.
Every year.
Period. This isn't a measuring stick. We've beaten the Chiefs. This isn't we got to find out where we measure up against the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs aren't they're 9-0, but they haven't exactly been wasting people. This isn't a measuring stick game for the Bills.
And then on the other hand, like I said earlier, like the Chiefs, you're right, they're 9-0. I have nothing bad to say about them. But this is the year where you can go and just look at the schedule. They're not winning games, 42-7. They're not blowing teams out. Mahomes doesn't have 350 yards every game, and he's not doing all of these trick plays and all this stuff. And like, it's a little different. The way they're winning games are a lot different than they've been. And it's actually reminiscent of last year, where I feel like the defense plus some lucky bounces going their way, and maybe some other luck in some other ways is going their way. But that's how they're winning games. And the comment just said, Sarah says 15-0. That's their streak, and someone else said 23. I don't know what
if they win the Super Bowl, it'd be 23 straight.
And that's just insane. So if you go all the way through, it's 23 straight. They're not going to get to 23 straight. And if I'm wrong, code take me all day. But
and that's the point. Like, literally, if the Chiefs lose this game, they're going to be like, we were 15-0. You can't win them all.
And to me, and at this point of the season, that's how I feel about the Bills. I want to win this game. I'm not saying it like, it don't matter who wins. It's going to be a good game. I always want to win. To me, this is the new for Bills fans and for Chiefs fans, this is the new Bills get up for Patriots. Like, this is the team. This is the team. So
Right.
of course I want to win this game, but I respect them. And I at the same time, one thing that I regret about how I felt about Tom Brady is that I didn't want to watch as much of him as possible when he was playing, because I'm like, oh, I hate that guy. Like, I just hated everything about him. So I didn't want to watch him. But I love football a lot more now. And I think I've matured in a different way. And it's like, now I want to watch as much good football as possible. Like, I want to be able to really have those memories.
Right.
And Patrick Mahomes is like that. Lamar Jackson is like that.
I just want you to know that the Dolphins feel that way. The Dolphins fans feel that way about Josh Allen, and I think the Raiders fans feel that way about Pat Mahomes. Like, they just need to. I think it's the Raiders can't beat the Chiefs. Like, there's some huge long streak that they share as well, just like the Bills. Kind of like Josh Allen is the Dolphins' daddy. We need to get this thing kind of wrapped up. I forgot my Post-it note with our predictions last week, so like literally, I'm sitting in the seat on the airplane today. I'm like, oh. That's what it hit me that I forgot it. So
there's receipts. It's all good. We can
exactly. We just need it. Somebody's got to do the research. We need Chris Jenke probably knows it just off the top of his head. Oh, Joe, last week you said this. So yeah, I'll let you go first. So stat line and score prediction for this football game for the Buffalo Bills and Chiefs.
I think this one's going to be one of those games like it always is. Every time we play this team, it's one of those games that it annoys us. It comes down to the end. It comes down to a bad ref call on one side or the other. So I think it's going to be one of those, 21-17, 21-20 type games.
I'm in the same spot.
It could go either way for the heck of it, because I love us. I'm going to say it's us. You know what I mean? But would I be surprised if it's them 21-20? No, but I think it's that type of game. I'm going to say Josh Allen is, like 260 in the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. So yeah, I'm giving us the 21. Yeah, so 1 on the ground, 2 in the air. I don't think their running backs get one, but I think they play a big part in, we're going to have to. The key to this game is keeping Mahomes and them off the field.
For me, I'm taking the Chiefs in this football game, 23-20. So I'm in the same spot. I think it's going to be a grind them out, slow, a lot of field goals. Like, I don't think it's going to be a barn burner. I think both teams know each other so well at this point. They've both seen I mean, I guess probably the one of the key factors is potentially Vaughn. Right, because Vaughn made such a big difference in the one game that he did play against them. Obviously, pressuring Mahomes, which caused the interception to Taron Johnson to seal the game for us. But I'm probably going 23-20, and I'm probably taking the Chiefs in this football game, which still puts the Bills, in a run for the 2 seed. Right. Yeah. So to me, there's no measuring stick. There's no like moral victories, and there's no like, burn the Bills flags because we lost to the Chiefs in the regular season at home in Buffalo. To me, that's not what this game's about. This game's about, you just got to beat them to stack a win. Like at the end of the day, they're just another log on the fire. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at with this football game. Josh Allen for me, probably in that 250 range. What did you say for Josh?
It's a 260. So around there.
Yeah. 250 for Josh. Probably like 17-25. Like, I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to run the ball a lot or at least try to run the ball a lot on this football team. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah,
I hope they do, and I hope Ray Davis has a day. I hope.
Right. I was a little bummed that he didn't have a day last weekend against the Colts. That was like one of his worst point outings as far as fantasy points of the year. So, any final words before I get us out of here?
If those that's with us right now, if y'all can kick it with me in another 17 minutes, me and Steros, we're going to be over there with Rumblings Network doing Chop Up, and we got my man Rob Crippen joining us. He's the host of Nickel City Crew. He's going to be joining us. We're going to talk about everything from, you heard about this new, well, it's not new, but we're going to talk a little bit about the app transition, everybody going from Twitter to Blue Sky.
Oh, right. Yeah,
it's been some players talking some crap. We're going to bring that up, and so it's going to be a fun show. We're going, y'all know the Chop Up is not filtered, so it's a little different.
Yeah, I have been asked by several people what my plan is, and I'm at the point where it's like, I'm 51. I'm trying to get off social media, not add another app to my phone. Like I'm not. I appreciate all you youngsters that are out there that have the energy to start over on a new platform. For me, I'm just like, I want to get off the ones I'm on. So that's kind of. I'm on them because I have to be at this point, right? So at the end of the day, yeah, we'll see. I could end up over there too, but as of right now, I'm just like, really? Maybe not. So, but yeah, I know a lot of people have gone over there. So awesome. Good conversation as always, my dude. Thank you to everybody that is joined us for the show live. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into, and we appreciate you tuning into every week, the Hump Day Hotline on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. My name is Joe Miller. That there is Jay Spence the King for me, for John, for Jerry, for all of us here at Overreaction. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Enjoy this game this weekend. Stack away.
Hump Day.
There it is.
And
there it is. Go Bills. Give me a Go Bills, brother.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.